rotations. You've got to then find the coping very quickly, land on it, and then twist around again. Here's what Cesar does the best, spinning. Such control in the ramp. And here, taking that spin to the coping, rotating around, finding the coping, then spinning back around just as time ran out.
Cesar Mora, the stylish Australian who once played professional soccer in Spain. Very exciting in the ramp, and he has adapted. Can't say that we're suffering here in Southern California on a perfect night. Here are the top 10. These are the guys who currently are in the spots to make the men's finals in vert. The brightest star in the sky, Tim Ward. We'll see more of him in our coverage later on tonight from the X Games.
You will see the second runs in that coverage. Fans enjoying the free admissions to all X Games events. And next, we'll get off on the good foot with the shoeless aquatic acrobats of barefoot water ski jumping. Who can handle the choppy water the best?
For the first 2 years of life, everything is pretty much taken.
Second round of the men's prelims in the vert ramp. Ty Chris is in the ramp.
He's learned the magic tricks the same way he's learned a lot of these tricks. Such difficulty. He studies video. Oh, beautiful style. And now he's going the opposite way. There's a beautiful rocket McTwist right into a switch rocket McTwist. Back to back, the same trick, but going his unnatural direction.
Hand touching on the unity, but looking so composed. Invert off the extension.
Oh, going for a Farfignugan. Getting on the side of his boots. There's the switch invert. And there's the Farfignugan to end it off. Extremely difficult because you're leaning forward and sliding, kind of torquing your ankles. Jack, take a look here. This is what makes Ty Chris such a technical skater. First, here he tries the natural rocket McTwist. Right arm grabbing the feet, rotating to the left. Nice style with his legs boned out, completely straight. And then he tries it unnatural, the opposite direction. His left arm reaches up, he rotates to the right, and still nails the style.
Ty Chris showing immense leg power, great strength, and he's going to be a finalist. From an original field of 23 competitors, they will cut down to 10 for the finals, 50 seconds per run. We're now in the second of 2 runs. They get graded on a 100-point scale. Here's a further explanation.
Inline vert. Explain. Skaters get dialed in with 3 types of tricks on the half pipe. Airs, rising above the ramp. Skaters perform spins, flips, and a variety of grabs. Inverts, keeping a hand on the coping while flipping upside down. And grind. Not as spectacular, but technical. They gain big points with the judges. To be among the best, a skater will have to execute a variety of all these tricks. Falls will hurt their score, but can be overcome if the rest of the run is clean and creative.
The brightness of the light can be warm, but sometimes it's more of a glare. Chris Edwards has felt both in his storied career. He's currently 5th, and he can rock it.
Oh, there's his Gumby air. He created that air. Oh, he is just on it right now. Oh, going for the alley-oop 720.
Nobody hustles more, though. Look at how hard the guy is working to keep it going.
Right back up to the grinds. Nice hip-hop to fakie. Planting his hand twice and then coming around backwards.
The trademark pumps through the flat bottom, the speed and the power. The crowd's response to Chris Edwards.
Here's a Gumby, because he stretches his whole body back, pulling his feet together, arching the back. Such style, and here's the hip hop. Hip, hop, and then he brings it around backwards.
Chris Edwards has qualified for the final in men's vert. Part of learning to win is knowing when you have to play not to lose. Jay Nakahara has something to lose. He's in 8th. The top 10 will make the finals.
He's getting some nice height off the top of the ramp. Going for the 720 and nailing it. Oh, beautiful. That's where the sport is heading in the future. The soul grind, and then he rotates around 270 degrees back into the ramp.
Another long grind using the coping. All Nakahara has lacked is something off the extension, using the entire pipe.
Looking a little confused. And finishing up with an invert to fakie. Getting upside down, spinning around.
On the metal, he was solid.
Beautiful soul grind, locking on to the sole of his right foot. And then just as he lost speed, spinning around 270 degrees, adding difficulty to an already solid grind.
17 years old, and Jay Nakahara earns a return ticket if his score holds up. The brightest light in men's vert is the guy on the left. Tim Ward is coming up.
And we'll have Ward's run. Plus, coming up later tonight, barefoot jumpers. One final jump remaining to make the round of 8 and move on to the finals at Mission Bay. More X Games coming up right after this.
Summertime is savings time at your value leader, Toyota of Escondido. Drive home a great deal now.
Toyota Escondido.
Top Toyota trucks are in a class by themselves. It makes sense to buy from the leader, Toyota of Escondido.
Toyota Escondido.
I wouldn't do that if I were you. I'll pick you out of a lineup and send you to the slammer. You know what jail's like? Not a sourdough jack in sight. No golden toasty sourdough slices, no jumbo patties, no bacon, no cheese for you. That's hard time, baby!
Any trouble here?
No, officer. The young man's going to Jack in the Box. Can you give him a lift?
I'm not allowed in the street.
Of England and Your Majesty, as MLS spokesperson, is modesty an issue in the locker room?
No, not really, Chris. No, and I'll tell you why. Because one keeps one's eyes focused up. It's all about eye contact. That's where the connection is made between the spokesperson, oneself, and the athlete. Now, if one were to let one's eyes drift downward, well, then we've lost that connection, haven't we? Yes, the bond is clearly gone.
Yes, well, okay, well, thank you for being with us, and we'll be right back with Mike Tomczak.
As inline skating's popularity continues to grow at warp speed, the tricks are getting tougher. Daring young skaters have raised the bar, and old dogs who want to continue to compete have been forced to learn new tricks. Using the 1995 X Games as a launching pad, Mark Shays takes a look at inline's evolution.
There are only 3 basic grinds, and in the 1995 games, they were around in their most basic forms. In this run, Manuel Balearis demonstrated all 3. The frontside grind, the backside grind, and the soul grind. Tom Fry was able to win gold in 95 with moves like this 2-grind combination. At the time, this combo was a glimpse at the future. Today, his 95 run wouldn't even get Tom out of the prelims. But look where the front side has evolved. Here's Arlo Eisenberg in '96, not only coming into the grind backward, but leaning his ankles into a move called the Royale. And in 1997, the standard is to catch air into the grinds. At this year's trials, Tig Chris takes a stale grab into his Royale and lands it cleanly. The sole grind has come just as far and branched off in even more directions. Sit on your sole like Chris Edwards in '96, and it's called a fish brain. Grab your other skate like Tom Fry, and it's a topside Macchio. And by this year's trials, skaters like Tig Chris were doing the rocket fish brain and approaching their grinds backwards like Tim Ward and Chris Garrett. In order to win, the basics just don't fly anymore. Same goes for big air. In '95, Cesar Mora, Chris Edwards, and Manuel Baleares were content with maximum height and a single grab of the skates. But Rene Holgreen raised the bar in '96 with this double grab. And this year's trials, Eitan Kramer's double grab came in the middle of a 540. This year's games will be a display of the same kind of evolution, the most exciting combinations yet of the same basic principles. Look for a major trend in unnatural moves. Each skater has a natural turning direction, and many of the top skaters want to expand their repertoire by fighting their natural turning instincts. The tricks this year will be more complex than ever. The challenge will be to pull them off with style and flair.
And the judges rewarded Tim Ward's progressive grabs with a 74.2 in round one. Midway through round two, it remains the score to top. Let's see if the shy Australian stays at number one.
What is it about the bright lights that seems to pump the adrenaline extra high? This is the last chance in the prelims for men's vert. Tim Ward, the current leader, gets set to drop in with a big grin on his face. He has it on.
Tim getting some serious elevation, and there the switch McTwist. Such style. And now right into some technical grinds. It's as if he won't try a trick unless it's the most difficult.
Keeping his poise even though the grind fell apart.
Nice alley-oop Macchio, not going far across the coping. Switch 360 or unnatural.
Ward takes his tricks in both directions, and the crowd loves it.
Take a look at how solid this trick is. Two grabs. Beautiful, right? Also unnatural. Going the opposite direction he's used to, and here getting very technical, locking onto the sole of the boot, putting his other leg behind him, and coming in backwards.
His fellow competitors watch and try to learn from him, but there are some things you just can't teach. Tim Ward has it. From Switzerland, Distal Pipe is currently sixth, looking pretty secure for a spot in the final. Really high out of the pipe.
The only thing Distal suffers from sometimes is a lack of style. Here, putting it all together, trying to keep his arms in control.
Up on the extension, using full width of the pipe.
Nice sole grind, right into a unity grind.
Flip drops it in nicely with the feet high on the vert.
Beautiful rocket fish brain. Another variation of the sole grind, getting on the sole of his boot, sticking his other foot out straight.
Not the smoothest competitor, but that lack of smoothness adds to the excitement. It always seems as if it's about to come apart.
Here's a look at the unity grind, crossing the legs, totally in control. And then he comes up with the fish brain, getting on the side of the boot of the skate. You have to be so accurate to nail it.
Distal Pipe enjoying his time here at the X Games, and we'll see him in the men's vert final. In Eitan Kramer's first run, he smartly did all of his long traveling grinds on the west side, which is the better of the two. Here's the guy who really skied.
Huge height off the top. The double grab 540, he goes down, but he's hustling to the top. Not too long ago, I taught this kid how to jump over a book bag. He dropped into the first mini ramp, and now he gets the highest air of almost anybody, and he's capable of winning anywhere.
Kramer in the closing seconds, showing a long grind.
Ah, beautiful grind across the coping.
Going into the second round of the prelims, he's in 4th place, and his score may suffer a little after the early error, but he had plenty of amplitude.
Eitan has a lot of muscle and a very efficient pump. It gets him up super high. So much time in the air. And here, coming up backwards, locking his foot onto the coping. Beautiful technical grind.
We'll see more of that stuff in the men's vert final. He has qualified. The Swiss, Rafael Sando, currently in 3rd position. Needs to uncork the best score of the night to lead. He's capable of it. Way out of the top, 7 feet.
Nice air. Using the extension. Beautiful 540. Almost losing it though. The reason he scores so well in competition is because he nails his tricks. They have so much style. His inverts he holds, his coping tricks he grinds them all the way across. His airs, they're huge.
He has used the entire width of the pipe. He has shown height. He's had the coping tricks. Another invert. Oh, he goes down face first. It's not going to hurt too much, at least not in the score.
Rafael is 5'3". He's probably getting about 8 feet of air right there. Beautiful method air, pulling his feet back behind his head. He has such efficient pump. And there, the unity grind, traveling very far across the ramp.
Rafael Sando of Switzerland gives a distinctly international flavor to the men's vert final. We will see him tomorrow night. The world has come to the United States for the men's vert final, and here are the 10 athletes who will appear, including Cesar Mora in 10th from Australia, a Swiss in 7th, distal pipe, Marco Longares from Spain in 6th place. The top 5, including Chris Edwards of the United States, Rafael Sando of Switzerland in 3rd, Ty Chris the Magician from France 2nd, the top qualifier, the future of this sport, Tim Ward of Australia. He has the entire package. It'll be on display at the X Games tomorrow night.
Thanks, Jack. And still to come, 1996 silver medalists Vic Papadano and Troy Hartman introduced.
There's a switch fakie 540. First he does the regular one, then he does a 1.5 rotation the opposite direction. Such technicality.
Tim Ward from Australia maintaining his composure even when things went wrong.
He normally turns the opposite direction. He does a double grab in the air, looking for the coping, upside down, 1.5 rotations, opposite direction he normally goes. And then locking his foot on, riding right over the seam in the coping, total control.
Tim Ward takes the first round lead in the prelims. It seems some of the terms that we're using are up in the clouds. They're really not that hard to understand. Here's an explanation.
Mountain Do presents Get a Clue, the X Games glossary. You've got to lock your legs with a 540 spin for a fakie rocket flip. Get real. Try a fakie. That's riding or landing backwards. Get in unity. Grind the coping with your feet crossed. But slide on that boot side, and that's Royale. You gotta kick and hold one leg out. It's not Kung Fu. It's Liu Kang. Now, you got a clue.
When batters are on deck, they swing weighted bats.
The front side grind, sliding between the wheels on the chassis or the frame of the skates.
Michelle not bringing it down successfully, but showing a lot of effort. Acknowledging the crowd, Claudia Purcell of Switzerland. Claudia Purcell of Switzerland scores a 60.40. Don't feel bad if some of the vocabulary is unfamiliar. We're going to help you out right here.
AT&T presents Get a Clue, the X Games glossary. You've got to lock your legs with a 540 spin for a fakie rocket flip. Get real. Try a fakie. That's riding or landing backwards. Get in unity. Grind the coping with your feet crossed. But slide on that boot side, and that's Royale. You gotta kick and hold one leg out. It's not Kung Fu. It's Liu Kang. Now, you got a clue.
Fabiola de Oliveira Somoas da Silva, 18 years old, from Brazil, the defending champion at the X Games.
Fabiola has had the luxury of skating with many of the best male skaters for the past 6 months, and you can tell her airs are huge. She has so much poise in the coping. There with the backflip. And she's not done. Jack, she has such good use of the ramp, always traveling from one end back to the other and then back again.
Fabiola is at another level. What she puts up, no one has approached.
She has such control on the backflip, keeping her arms in a position so she can land safely, but she didn't need to use them.
Fabiola in her accustomed spot in the lead. From the land of the rising sun, a 12-year-old who has shocked the inline skating scene. Ayumi Kawasaki, currently in medal position, she now makes her bid for gold.
Oh, beautiful air. She's getting a lot more height this run. She just needs to travel a lot more on the ramp. She's only using 3 panels. That's 12 feet out of 42.
Her spins are so solid there. Her foot position on landing is so assured.
Getting upside down.
Again, needing some horizontal movement there. She gets it on the grind.
Nice unity.
And no touch with the hands. Great balance.
There's the backflip. She has so many big tricks.
Fluidity, degree of difficulty, creativity. Not a whole lot of horizontal movement back and forth across the ramp. But to at least an untrained eye and the standing ovation in the stands, that looks at least like the second best performance of the day.
She has such control in the air, reaching around, keeping her body compact, and she's got a good eye on where she wants to land very quickly. Here, total control. That's how you do a unity. And then the rotation to end things off, leaving an impression, a lasting impression with the judges. Nice spin, landing nice and high.
Ayumi Kawasaki gets only 3rd place. She is too much of a sportsman to say she was bagged. A lot of people could say it for her, though. Under a perfect blue sky, Fabiola de Oliveira Somoas da Silva of Brazil already knows that she is the best. She has the gold medal in her pocket. The X Games is a worldwide event, and it's a very international-looking podium. In 3rd with the bronze medal, Ayumi Kawasaki of Japan, the silver medalist, Claudia Trichel of Switzerland, and the gold medalist, Fabiola da Silva of Brazil. No one gets higher, no one uses more of the ramp, no one is more explosive and exciting than Fabiola.
Fabiola. Well, the men's inline vert final featured 10 skaters, and they took 3 runs in the pipe. The average of their top 2 scores determined the winner. In the preliminaries, Tim Ward's grace and versatility won over the judges. This self-proclaimed quick learner likes to try tricks switch just for a challenge. Well, that's like Barry Bonds batting right just for the heck of it. Let's go to the finals and take a look at Tim Ward. His 2nd run of the finals, he went big with big tricks, a lot of air. Again, showing the judges great grabs. Tim Ward also very technical on this run. Solid grind. His 2nd round score of 79.2 won the medal. So there's the final standings. Ward takes the gold, 1st place throughout prelims and the finals. Frenchman tied Chris, also in 2nd after the prelims, silver. And for the 2nd straight year, Chris Edwards, the bronze. He's the top American finisher. Mark Shays breaks down the gold medal run.
Tim Ward is the most technical, well-rounded skater right now alive in the sport. Here, a double-grabbed, unnatural McTwist going the opposite direction. And here, such style on every trick he does. Then on his grinds, he does the most difficult grinds, coming in backwards on almost all of the approaches, and here topside on the coping. Tim Ward also does huge spins here with the 720, and he finished his run up with a trick he had never landed before in competition, the 900.
Thanks, Mark. Has become more important than strength and all-out speed. For the members of Derek Downing's family, these terms need no explanations. Downing's a 4th-generation skater. His parents were champion figure skaters, and they now own a rink. Derek's a champion as well. He won the inline downhill gold in the 1995 X Games. Last year, he broke his collarbone. He did not compete. This is his first chance to defend the gold medal. Paul Page, Eric Flame, and Christy Lee call the semifinals at Mission Run.
Another magnificent day in Oceanside, California on the Mission Run for the men's downhill inline. Quarterfinals are complete. We're ready for the semifinals with Downing, who was the fastest qualifier, Smith, Steketee, and Naylor in this round of the semifinals.
Hey, Colorado. Hi, Mom and Dad.
Now, I guess I have to tell you, Patrick Naylor is from Boulder.
Naylor, to your mark.
DJ Steketee, 8th in the qualifying. Chad Smith, always eloquent. And, of course, Derek Downing. Oh, Chad Smith just charges out of there once again. Very powerful skater.
Smith and Downing, 2 of the strongest starters, getting a bit of a gap on the rest of the field as they head into the chicane.
Through the chicane, nice and clean. Smith, Downing, Steketee.
Chad Smith lowering his head, getting his arms right out in front to be as aerodynamic as possible. But you see Downing timing it perfectly, slingshotting off of Smith with Steketee right on his tail.
So Steketee drops in right behind now, skating at better than 50 miles an hour. tell you what, there was a lot going on in the last 200 or 300 yards.
Downing coming around the outside of Smith, timed it perfectly. He's got Steketee right on him. Chad Smith tries to slip back into the draft, but at this point, it's a little bit too late. There's not enough time before the finish for Chad Smith.
And B.J. Steketee comes across the line second, right behind Derek Downing, and they transfer to the final round and will battle for the championship. Chad Smith, well, his face says it all. Now, the second of the semifinals, Turner, Hyatt, Luxton, and Springer.
Keith Turner's a world champion sprinter, although a rookie to the X Games. He wants to follow Scott Hyatt down the hill. He feels Scott is the fastest, and he's hoping to slingshot past Scott and into the finals.
And we have cameras for you on both Turner and Springer.
There's a lot of strategy going on here. Nobody wants to take the lead, but Springer is going to be the scapegoat in this one.
Springer jumps out, Hyatt into second place. You watch from Turner's camera. Interesting pacing as they head for the chicane.
It's all timing. You can see Turner right on Hyatt. Luxton pulling up. Three skaters working together, you're going to get a much better draft than if you're all by yourself. And that's because creating a bigger hull is much more aerodynamic.
Hyatt leads him down into the high-speed section. Look at this.
A lot of jostling going on between Turner and Luxton there. Whoa!
Hyatt takes the win. Anybody's guess for second. Nah, that's not embarrassing. Well, there was a lot of pushing at the top of the hill, Luxton and Turner.
Luxton trying to force his way in to get behind Hyatt and be in the draft. Turner's there, however, and you're not allowed to do that. He's impeding the progress of the other skater.
Further down the hill.
Luxton again using his arms, pushing off the other skaters, and that's grounds for disqualification.
And that's exactly what they've decided to do. As a result, it is Hyatt and Turner who will move to the final round and battle for the medals. Downing, Steketee, Hyatt, Turner. They move to the championship round in the men's downhill inline. Downing, Steketee, Hyatt, and Turner. We've seen a lot of pushing and shoving to get to here. B.J. Steketee.
Starting back a little further this time.
And Scott Hyatt. There's Turner. And, of course, Derek Downing, the 95 X Games champion. Can he do it again?
Downing and Hyatt are teammates. They've been using the draft together, but Scott Hyatt has a false start. He's starting 5 feet behind. Will he sprint towards the finish and leave his teammate behind?
Well, Steketee moves first, and Hyatt now begins to move. Hyatt pulls away. He's charging hard.
Scott's really trying to open up a big gap here because he knows that the other three skaters are watching each other and not concentrating on him. He's going to be able to take this thing.
Steketee in second as he leads the group of 3 down. Remember, they're going to go faster at the bottom simply because of the aerodynamic.
Steketee getting real low into that perfect aerodynamic tuck. Downing and Turner right on him.
Whoa, and Hyatt out alone doesn't have anybody to dance with. The group of 3 goes past. Now coming down for the championship, racing for the gold. And Downing takes the win. Turner gets around Steketee right at the finish line.
Here in this shot, it illustrates so well how 3 skaters working together create such a good draft. The one skater by himself just gets blown away.
And then Turner latches on to Downing, and Steketee gets left out alone. They finish Downing, Turner, Steketee. Downing is a 2-time X Games champion.
Derek, I got to say, that was very exciting. Seemed like there was a lot of strategy. People were actually jumping intentionally at the start, and then the drafting issue. Your thoughts?
Yeah, no one wanted to lead the race because, I mean, if you get in the lead and you got 3 guys coming behind you, it's like a freight train, you know? They'll just blow right by you. And you saw how it worked out there. You know, Scotty took his chances, you know, and he had to gamble because, I mean, if not, we would have crawled all the way down the hill. Then who knows what would have happened. But I tell you what, man, that was a great race.
You were the champion in '95. You couldn't compete last year. Must feel good to be the gold medalist again.
Yeah, it feels great to be back. I mean, I was nervous the whole time, you know, and people, you know, were looking at me say, hey, you know, you won '95, you know, but he was out in '96. What's he going to do in '97? But I took it back home to Atlanta.
So Derek Downing takes the gold, followed by Keith Turner and B.J. Steckity, in what has been a great afternoon in Oceanside for the men's downhill inline.
So a happy Derek Downing proves that 1995 was not a fluke, and he'll join us later on the show. In the women's inline downhill race, Gypsy Tidwell also successfully defends a gold medal. She won last year. She took the gold again this year.
She has so many big tricks. Oh! Fluidity, degree of difficulty, creativity. Not a whole lot of horizontal movement back and forth across the ramp. But to at least an untrained eye and the standing ovation in the stands, that looks at least like the second best performance of the day.
She has such control in the air, reaching around, keeping her body compact, and she's got a good eye on where she wants to land very quickly. Here, total control. That's how you do a unity. And then the rotation to end things off, leaving an impression, a lasting impression with the judges. Nice spin, landing nice and high.
Ayumi Kawasaki gets only third place. She is too much of a sportsman to say she was bagged. A lot of people could say it for her, though. Under a perfect blue sky, Fabiola de Oliveira Somoas da Silva of Brazil already knows that she is the best. She has the gold medal in her pocket. The X Games is a worldwide event, and it's a very international-looking podium. In third with the bronze medal, Ayumi Kawasaki of Japan, the silver medalist, Claudia Trichel of Switzerland, and the gold medalist, Fabiola da Silva of Brazil. No one gets higher, no one uses more of the ramp, no one is more explosive and exciting than Fabiola. And they're lighting it up for us. Neil Hendricks wearing black, and to his right, to our left in the red helmet, Mike Frazier. They are right next to one another, getting set to drop in two very aggressive skaters.
Neil goes high, Mike goes low. In their first two runs of the preliminaries, they cross 5 different times. The more you cross and the more difficult tricks you do as you cross, the higher the score. Already 3-4 crosses, Jack. This is a great run.
The invert, and then Frazier underneath.
5 crosses using the entire ramp. They stayed on the board.
Not very synced up, but a lot of spectacular stuff now. Hendricks goes to the coping, and Frazier does the single-hand handstand. Hendricks.
He'll throw him back in. Very strong run. Even though they did the same run as they did in prelims, it will rank high in the judge's eye. You have to forget about what they did in prelims when they come to the finals.
They put it up here, Neil Hendricks and Mike Frazier.
They'll rank #1 because they did not fall. Exceptional in the air. They crossed a number of different times. Neil going way high with the frontside tail grab. And Mike Frazier, the aggressive style, staying low. Here again, Neil taking it high, Mike taking it low, Mike going front side on the 5-0 grind. Perfectly timed run.
91 point San Diego. It's the skateboard vert doubles finals. 5 teams, each in the pipe for up to 45 seconds. 3 runs, they only count the best score on the 100-point scale. That's how we determine gold, silver, and bronze. Here's more.
Skateboard vert doubles. Explain. The main objective, a 2-man team working in a well-choreographed routine. Partner interaction is key. Skaters drop in from the same side and should try to synchronize their tricks. Judges are watching for creativity and execution using the entire half pipe. The best will push the envelope by performing a combination of synchronous tricks. Falls hurt, disrupting flow, and killing momentum.
Tony Hawk has done so much for skateboarding, and he is a big part of the reason, along with Andy Macdonald, That doubles is a part of the X Games. This has been a dormant discipline in skateboarding for a long time, but these two guys are helping to bring it back.
This duo, geographically desirable because they live in the same city right here in San Diego, so they've had a lot of time to work on this run.
Hawk going backwards over his partner.
See how fast and aggressive they're skating?
Macdonald returning the favor.
And they used the channel on that last hit, the 540.
So close.
So they crossed over the channel, and watch him slap his tail, and they switch boards.
Andy Macdonald taking Tony Hawk's board, and now he takes a third board. He's got two boards just floating around at the bottom of the half pipe. Andy Macdonald putting on a show along with Tony Hawk.
Very original, very creative. They crossed a number of different times. Andy taking a low road, and look at that front side grind with plenty of style, that tail slide actually, and then here once again over the channel, the tail slide by Hawk. Andy Macdonald out of your picture. In the 540 sky and really high. Andy staying low this time, but then he gets an air and he changes it into a revert, coming back down, switching boards. He switches off his board on a front side air. Folks, I can't tell you how difficult that is. It's all timing by Andy Macdonald.
This pair makes it look easy. They're the leaders at 95.25. It almost sounds like an oversimplification, but Matthias Ringstrom and Max Stufort just need to stand up for 45 seconds. It is hard enough for one man to compete in an 11-foot ramp with a channel and with an extension and to stay up. But to have two guys doing it is more than twice as hard.
Max fell earlier in their first run, but they came back strong in the second half of their run to get in that third place spot. They need to cross a little bit more. That's the difference between this run and Hawks and Macdonald's run. They haven't crossed that much. There they go. Hendricks and Frazier crossed 5 or 6 different times. But they are in sync. That's one thing they're doing right. They haven't crossed over the gap yet. The 540 by Ringstrom. The pattern is to do something creative at the end.
Ringstrom drops in first.
There you go.
Board on board. Max Stufort showing a lot of finesse, and they do indeed. Standard up for 45 seconds. That's going to improve their score, and they already were in bronze medal position.
A very solid run by these two gentlemen, Max Stufort and Matthias Ringstrom. And look how in sync they are up on the wall together. They come down very quickly, go right into another run. These are separate tricks, opposite sides of the ramp, opposite ends. And then the 540, Matthias barely makes this 540. Max stays down as long and as far as he can. Max comes up, slap in the nose, riding off with that front right wheel, and he pulls it off. That's an amazing trick to pull off.
They improve their score by 4 points and consolidate their third place standing. After 2 rounds of 3 in the finals, Tony Hawk and Andy Macdonald are on top. But remember, all it takes is one great run to win it, and any of these 5 tandems can do it.
Still to come. 2 Illusions.
0.9 for 60.
Side of the screen, Max Schaff wearing blue. And over by the railing, Bob Burnquist. This pair is capable of much better than it has shown so far.
Burnquist going to go switch right here, riding with his opposite foot forward. Cross for the second time. Tony Hawk and Andy Macdonald use the entire ramp. Bob Burnquist nails it. Nails the kickflip and he grab.
Burnquist, oh, he collides. Oh, tremendous collision, but Schaff is okay.
Bob and Max collide on the front side switch by Bob Burnquist.
Oh, it's a full contact sport.
They're not done yet, though.
Oh, a little more abuse for your partner. And now, just step on him. Walk all over him. Take that, Bob.
Bob Burnquist got to save some of his body parts for the vert and the street. Bob Burnquist and Max Schaff timing out things perfectly. In the picture comes Max Schaff, the kickflip indie grab, and underneath, this is where they collide. It's a switch frontside air. How about the foot plant, though? Coming off his back. Little foot plant. I wonder how many times they practiced that.
I'd rather be on the giving end than the receiving. The score they receive is not going to get him into the medal. Can Hendricks and Frazier beat Hawk and Macdonald? Last chance in doubles at the X Games. Mike Frazier wearing the red helmet on the left, and Neil Hendricks, wearing the black shirt and the black helmet.
They'll need an exceptional run here to beat Tony Hawk and Andy Macdonald. They'll need to change up the end. Most importantly, Jack, they'll need to stay on.
They really can sky it. They need to come up with an original move. The creative juice is certainly stirring between rounds.
They have stayed on so far.
They're going back to the same old, same old. It was pretty funny the first time, still cool looking now. But when you pull it off for the 5th time in a competition, it probably isn't going to win you a lot of originality points.
They're probably pretty happy getting second place behind Andy Macdonald and Tony Hawk.
And they should be. Great job by Mike Frazier and Neil Hendricks.
And they'll both try for the vert final, the solo vert final, and they could be saving themselves for that. And the trick they did a number of times. Neil holding and Mike doing the hand plant. The invert, a lot of strength up there, even though he's being held. He's kind of kinked up there and lets him right back down into the ring.
92.25 sews up second place for Hendricks and Frazier. Heavenly doings in San Diego. Divine stuff in vert doubles. It's time for the top guns to take to the ramp. Tony Hawk and Andy Macdonald drop in what amounts to an exhibition run.
Anything goes here. I think what they'll do is change the end of the run because they have done this run before. Tony Hawk and Andy Macdonald. They come very close. Underneath, Hawk goes. Look for something different. Whoa, 720!
Board on board. Right back at you.
How does Tony Hawk do what he does time after time? This is a great moment. Tony Hawk and Andy Macdonald are super amazing. This is a 720-degree turn by Tony Hawk. He gets way in the air. Tony Hawk coming back, showing that he can keep it low and keep it aggressive. The tail sliding along Macdonald's board, and they both go back in. Tony Hawk and Andy Macdonald switching it up again. The varial by Hawk, and then Macdonald staying low. They are the gold medalists.
Bronze medalists Matthias Ringstrom and Max Dufour. Neil Hendricks and Mike Frazier take second. And 1-1 doesn't make 2. 1-1 makes 1. A couple of champions, Tony Hawk and Andy Macdonald, hook up and win vert doubles gold.
So the Masters pull it off under pressure. You could tell from the smiles, though, the skaters seem to enjoy the doubles competition. May have a big future. Andy and Tony, of course, will split up for the single vert competition. You can see coverage starting Thursday night here on ESPN. Up next, we've invited the two-time king of street and bike stunt, Dave Mirra, to join us on the deck here during cocktail hour. But first, an encore from the Golden Boys in...
Get himself to school on a punt boat all by himself.
Jack, Bucky is a totally different skater than what we just saw with Sergi Ventura, because Bucky is more of a powerful skater. Skates for Birdhouse, that's Tony Hawk's company, backside tail slide. Sergi's a little bit more lighter on his feet.
You really can see the weight. Oh, it got caught on the coping on the way up. Great recovery.
Difficult tricks back to back. Judges are looking at combination tricks, no setup tricks. Bucky's had a couple different gate twists in his run. That's when you do a 360 coming off a fakie.
Whoa, interesting hand plant. Bucky Lasek of Baltimore.
Bucky used the entire ramp. He's a big, powerful skateboarder. And he gets here in the air on the front side invert with his right foot in the back. Going up fakie, front side 360, tucking high. And what he does here is he spins in the air, coming off the channel. This is an invert. His hand is placed on the coping. He touches right there, and you have to do that trick quick, Jack, because you run out of room on the extension.
The judges love it. It's the second best score of the day. It's pretty simple in the skateboard prelims. 50 seconds to run. You count the better of your 2 run scores. Top 10 move on. Mike Crum splits his time between Dallas, Texas and La Jolla here in Southern California, just a few miles away from the site of the X Games.
Mike is a super technical skater, meaning he does a lot of different flip tricks. It's a big ramp, and he's already used all of it. Gate twist with the 360, a heel flip. Solid run up until that point. Cabo aerial to a grind. It's a very risky trick, Jack, because you spin 360 degrees, and then your trucks have to land on the coping perfectly.
Mike Crum, good stuff. Is good enough to get into the top 10 and the finals. Crum currently in 8th. Remember, there's another group still to come. He'll need to do better in his second go-round. Everyone focusing on the man who is at the top of the ramp and at the top of his game. We'll analyze this for you in a minute. Let's enjoy with the crowd Tony Hawk on the vert ramp.
Tony using the entire ramp, known for his combinations of back-to-back tricks. There's this varial combination, to varial to a disaster, and Tony Hawk knows that he just has to stay on to get into the finals.
His wife Erin loving it, and so do the hundreds and hundreds who consider Tony Hawk to be one of the finest sportsmen in America.
There's 5 extra seconds up on the clock in this contest. He lands very high on the transition, right there. And there's not a lot of room over there because that's the extension. Over the channel with the board varial, coming down, Tony Hawk, skating goofy foot with his left foot in the back. And then a board varial to a disaster. The middle of the board lands on the coping, and you have to pull up with your front foot to enable your back trucks not to get hung up.
Complex, powerful, graceful Tony Hawk, the best we've seen today. If you were to grade this day, it'd get about a 91.25, but it could get better. And so could Tony Hawk, believe it or not. He's got another run still to come with Group B.
Coming up, the stellar kinesis of Katie Brown.
first 2 years of life, everything is pretty much
touch on his board. What do skateboarders mean when they say that, Paul?
There's a couple different ways you can look at that. A lighter guy like a Lincoln Ueda or Sergi Ventura, they kind of float and fly high. Bucky is powerful, does his tricks with authority on the cope, and he slaps that board down on the wall. A little bit more of a louder skater.
When his feet are on that board, they really seem to be stuck to it. He rarely makes adjustments with his feet en route across the ramp.
Let me tell you something, this kid is a great skater.
Bucky Lassick throwing in big degrees of difficulty. You can see the Hawk influence.
That's exactly right. He rides for Birdhouse. He skates with Tony. And he does have some of the Tony Hawk style, especially in a couple different tricks.
When you see those spinning flips of Lassick, he seems to do them in thirds, the way Hawk does. Those slight delays add to the drama while he's in the air.
There's nobody happier here than Tony Hawk. He's slamming his board down in the coping in appreciation of a great run. Over the channel he goes with the kick flip. Actually, the heel flip. The front foot with the heel pop. And Tony Lassick, I want you to watch this. His board pops there. That's exactly what Tony Hawk does. And he landed down high on the coping. Tony Hawk loves it as much as anybody.
Lassick with the second best score of the day, only to, guess who? That was an 89.25, just behind Hawk. From 15 feet above the flat bottom, it is the man who is on top of the standings here in the skateboarding vert prelims, Tony Hawk.
Tony's got his line down, does inverts like nobody else.
In his first 4 passes, he had gone the entire width of the ramp, but now he's going back.
Tony uses his height to his advantage on this big vert ramp. 360 barrel to a disaster, running out of room on the extension.
A rarity. Tony Hawk goes up and does not find the board on the way down, but that is a run that anyone out here would take. Hawk hiding his face. Oh, how ashamed he should be.
By the way, Hawk, you're in first place. Big 540 coming off the coping, landing not real high on the transition, and he likes this part of the ramp. Clean invert, staying up there as long as he can. He arches his back when he does his inverts. That gives me a sore back just looking at it.
That, by the way, is the second best score of the day, but he'll keep his first round score, which, of course, is the best. Lincoln Ueda. A lot of straight stuff, big air, good stuff, but he was not able to pull off the heel flip. And that's where it ran astray for him in the first run. He needs to hit everything here.
There's no wasted movement with Lincoln Ueda. Everything's in rhythm. If he stays on, it'll be a good chance this kid gets into the finals.
8 feet out.
Nice clean alley-oop. Slapping the tail. He nails it this time. Slow heel flip.
Oh, yes!
And he throws in an invert, and for Lincoln Ueda, this is a solid run from edge to edge. 50 seconds is a long time on the ramp. Frontside invert by Lincoln.
Lincoln Ueda putting it all together, finding that board every time. Full arm extension on the grab in the middle of the run. Good stuff from him. Trying to qualify for the finals for the first time in his career. Lincoln Ueda has put up the 4th best score of the day, and he's a virtual lock to get in. 2 of 3 groups are complete in the preliminaries. And the bubble's probably going to come around number 7, Danny Way. That's where the big gap in the scoring is. And we'll see if he makes the final. Bucky Lasek, the second best scorer of the day. Tony Hawk, the leader so far. Nothing soars with the grace and beauty of a hawk.
Well, Bucky's been a Hawk protege since he was a teen, and Tony says they feed off each other, and Tony is very proud of the fact that Bucky is the only skater who can do an ollie impossible. That's a big air with a twist.
Yeah, not even Tony can do that. It must be cool to be the only guy on the planet who can do one trick. By the way, Bucky's not alone. There's probably about 100,000 kids in America who would consider themselves Tony Hawk proteges. Not many get the one-on-one coaching, though.
Well, coming up, it is bike terminology time. From Supermans to no-foot can-cans, the bike dirt finals in a bit. And next, it's the women's sport climbing. As I said, knew he was up to the pro level, and this comp could be his first major win. 83.6 is still the score to beat. Following Feinberg, Tim Ward, gold medalist in inline vert, is second. Chris Edwards is third. Defending champion Arlo Eisenberg is finished. He can do no better than fifth. Mark Shays and Jack Edwards are on the street course.
What's the old thing with those B television serials? When the time bomb stops ticking, it's about to go off. Well, the clock has gone silent on the street. And Chris Edwards has the detonator on his cleat.
He skates so fast. Oh, there's the huge wall ride. He was up even with us, and we're 11 feet off the ground. 11 years experience on his inlines. Chris just coming out doing what he does best, and that's going huge.
Great recovery. That's an 11-foot vert wall. Oh, giant transfer.
Leaping. Where Chris lacks in technicality, he makes up for it in his amplitude and his energy out here.
You get a little window into the personalities of these skaters. You can tell that Chris Edwards is one intense individual.
There's a nice grind to finish it off.
Edwards getting about 10 feet of a 12.5-foot rail, and the crowd responding to one of the veterans and the biggest names in aggressive inline skating, Chris Edwards.
Chris is so good for the sport. He makes it look exciting here, going up with more speed than anyone all day, nailing the wall. And then a huge air, bringing it around, not letting go, changing hands, almost losing it, but staying on his feet.
Chris Edwards improves his first-round score by only 0.2 of a point. He still is in bronze medal position. Tremendous crowds all week long at the X Games. They have cheered Tim Ward to a title before as he took the vert. Big delay in the air, and now he is going for gold on the street. Ward currently in second.
Tim is a wizard on his feet. He has such an ability to just lock his grinds. One after another, good creative use of the flat dead space. Just throwing in a little freestyle skating across the flat. He spins to rails so easily.
That
way. Very nice, even though his foot came off. He stayed on with the lock foot, the back foot.
This is the guy who showed up just before the competition, only a few passes around the course in practice.
Oh,
he misses, and down he goes. And with that fall, Tim Ward may have kissed his chances for a gold medal goodbye.
Tim came out of the gun, flying. Look at the definition as he grabs onto his foot, straightens his leg, and holds onto it all the way until the landing. Super style, and he stayed on his feet.
Ward's first round score is better, and that makes Aaron Feinberg the gold medalist. This is one for fun. Turning 16 years old at this competition, Eric Feinberg already has wrapped up gold.
Aaron is so thrilled.
This guy is 4 feet 9 and 90 pounds.
This is his moment in the sun. It's come pretty early in his career. This is only his first year as a professional skater. Oh, and he's still going for technically difficult tricks.
It's a mob scene. Arlo Heisenberg comes out with 10 seconds left. You can see the camaraderie there. These guys are really happy for him. The birthday boy. He's like everybody's little brother out there.
Happy birthday, Aaron!
He's got a long career ahead of him. It's going to be a bright one.
A big smacker for Aaron Feinberg.
Good job, dude!
Happy birthday time, homeboy. Happy birthday.
So for the second consecutive year, Chris Edwards takes bronze on the street. Pretty good for a guy known for his vert skating. Tim Ward adds silver on street to his gold in the vert. And Aaron Feinberg celebrates that 16th birthday in grand style.
What a win for Aaron Feinberg. When Aaron arrived in San Diego, he went directly to the street course, but since the skaters had not yet checked in with organizers, nobody was allowed to skate. Feinberg ran skateless around the park, pantomiming his moves. And congratulations to Sayaka Yalbe from Japan. She won the first ever women's inline street gold medal.
There it is. Note the bike position, how it is pointing straight down into the ramp when he lands on it. He carries a lot of speed to the other wall.
He has so much style on his tricks. Double bar spin.
That's high risk. You miss a handle there and you're going down.
Jack, but he had nice recovery because he landed in the flat bottom and he was able to keep up his speed. Dave Osato is a very big, powerful rider as well as being smooth.
Osato is showing his control on the back wheel and now the front.
No-footed nose pick. Taking his feet off the bike, and there's the 540. It's important to include the 540. This young man is just working on bonus points now.
Oh, up on the tire, a flatland trick.
Throwing the tail around. Dave Osato has a big smile on his face, and so does Dennis McCoy. They'll see each other in the finals.
The hot guy.
He got off to a great start. Normally guys save the tail up to the end of the run. Now, he has so many tricks that he includes it in the beginning part of the run. He becomes technical as well. The bar spin, whipping the handlebars around, not once, but 2 times around. And he is very high in the air, landing high on the transition. He lands with authority here, taking the bike all the way around the tail of the bike. The right hand, the right foot is right on the tire, keeping it in place.
Dave Osato with an 89.40 in the second round, and his average has him in 6th place. There are all kinds of terms, a lot of jargon in bike stunt riding, but we're going to help you out right here.
AT&T presents Get a Clue, the X Games glossary. When you're flying high, can. Kick one leg out over the bike. but taken low, and Smith grinds slow. Back wheel on the deck, front peg to the coping. Now, spin 540 degrees and twirl those bars for a 540 bar spin. Here's a tip. Try a tail whip. Kick the bike out for a spin. Now, you've got a clue.
A 92.60 in the first round, and he's stoking the crowd. A lot of this is showmanship. These riders just love to perform. Bestwick currently third in the standings, ahead of Matt Hoffman, just behind Dennis McCoy, who still is to come. Dave Murray is the top qualifier, at least for the moment. Bestwick could challenge for that.
Jack, the reason why he goes so high is because he has great pump airs. He's very quiet on his bike. Oh, what was that?
His feet were pointing toward the sky.
Totally amazing.
Incredible extension. Traditionally, the preliminary round has been the equivalent of the school figures. Show that you can perform, then uncork wild stuff in the finals. But Bestwick is pulling some stuff out of the bag right here in qualifying.
I'm still in awe of that one trick. He gets so high in the air, this kid, and he's using the entire ramp.
His separation from the bike.
Jack, his practice sessions were amazing. It was really quiet, and then all of a sudden he would drop in and he would sky high, and everybody would turn around and go, who is that?
Control off the front wheel. Everyone was wondering who is that last year when Bestwick, in only his second competition in the United States, took third at the X Games.
Very technical riding now, going frontwards and backwards along the coping. Watch out, Mira McCoy, Hoffman. This kid could really turn the world of stunt riding upside down.
He may go upside down here.
541 hander, and he lands it just perfect.
At the buzzer, Jamie Bestwick.
And he's a showman at that. Now, this is amazing. The key here is his legs. Look how high they go in the air. I've never seen somebody do that before.
Out of the frame.
Watch this once again. He gets almost upside down. How does he hang on to the handlebars? He is limber and agile in the air, and he lands super high on the transition. He had speed throughout his run.
He is the number 3 qualifier. Jamie Bestwick, a blade inspector for an aerospace company. I think he's been picking up some tips in the lab. Dennis McCoy shines even more brightly than his bike. McCoy is enjoying his status as the number 2 rider in qualifying. He could move up to number 1 if he really rocks here.
In his first run, he was very technical, meaning he did a lot of technical lip tricks, and he ended his run with a flare, which is a backflip with a twist.
We are getting a taste of what's coming tomorrow night here.
I don't think I can wait 24 hours, Jack. This is amazing. Oh, yes. Dennis putting it together, his patented 270 Smith grind up on the coping.
When these guys clear the coping and get 9, 10, 11 feet of air, they're getting about 2 seconds of hang time for their 150 or 160-pound bodies and their 40-pound bikes. That's a lot of downward force, and they perform such magic on the way down.
Very nice recovery just moments ago for Dennis McCoy up there on the coping. He's an experienced rider. At one time, he was the 10-year overall bicycle stunt champion.
He outlasted the award. He won it 10 years in a row, and then he just said, the heck with it, we're not going to even give it anymore.
He specialized in flatland, street, dirt, invert.
For the final seconds for Dennis McCoy.
The end of the last run with a backflip. A nice 540. He does not need to do the flare.
Oh, a tail whip up onto the deck. Dennis McCoy. We'll see him, and we hopefully see you in the final.
What a way to end a night of riding. Dennis McCoy And don't look now, but he drops right back in. He's still got some time. He's going to go for it again. The tail whip to the rear manual, landing on the back tire. He is proficient at bar spins, coming around 2 times. Last year he had all kinds of wrist problems, but he pulls it off this year. His wrists are in shape. Here is the tail whip landing right there on the deck. This was his first attempt. He almost pulled that thing off. He rocked a little bit too far back.
You know how good the field is? That run dropped Dennis McCoy 2 positions in the standings. So we have our 10 finalists. Jimmy Walker, the former high-rise window washer from Chicago, survives on the bubble, and he's coming back. And so are these top 5, including Jamie Bestwick from Great Britain and Dave Mirra, finally going for that gold.
So tomorrow, Dennis McCoy will go for gold, but getting past Hoffman, Mirra, and Bestwick won't be easy, but it will be easy to watch, that's for sure. Coming up Saturday, the Comets and the Stars.
Checking the clock.
Right now, not getting real high out of the ramp. You'll see the difference a little bit later on when a Mirra and a Hoffman drop in.
Another 540, and again a low landing to a tail whip of the frame stand as he puts his foot down on the top tube. Jimmy Walker of Chicago having a pretty good first run.
2 of the most difficult tricks that he did is a 540 and a tail whip. Here, though, he goes off with a no-footed can-can to a no-footer, growing right back on the pedals. Anytime that you're in the air, look at this, though. He doesn't go real high, and he bottoms out way down at the bottom part of the ramp. He lost a lot of speed, and that really hampered his next wall.
An 82.80 for Walker on the 100-point scale. There are 19 riders in the preliminary round. Cutting it down to 10. They get between 60 and a maximum of 90 seconds in each run. They take 2 runs and average those scores to determine who goes on to the finals.
Judges are looking for height of tricks, difficulty of tricks, how well you pull your trick. Looking at how well you get in and out of your trick. Do you make it look smoothly? And also style.
Lee Ramsdell from Winston-Salem, North Carolina. He's visorless. That's the new fashion statement in bike stunt riding.
Lee Ramsdell, one of the few competitors that has competed in dirt jump and also the street comp. He is a little bit banged up. He was banged up coming here, and since the dirt jump, he got knocked around a little bit.
You see Ramsdell hustling, pedaling hard across the flat bottom to get back into the air after a low landing. Coping trick, not really smooth. Now he gets hung up, but saves the bike. That's important because he's at the top of the 11-foot deck instead of being down on the flat bottom where he'd have to pump himself back up.
Those pegs on the back of his bike can be his friend or his foe. Now, looking at his bike, he only has 1 peg on the front on the left-hand side. That means he's only going to go one direction. And look at his back part of his bike. There's a backflip.
Backflip lands it flat and goes over the handlebars. Lee Ramsdell going thoroughly in the first round. Welcome to Bike Stunt.
Lee Ramsdell trying to bust out some tricks. He's been riding all week. As I said earlier, he is a little sore, and that backflip might create a couple more problems for him. He's got a big smile on his face. Lee Ramsdell had a couple of different difficult tricks. He goes high here with the 540, but not super high. You can see he gets about 3 feet out, landing somewhat high on the transition. You need to land the highest part of the transition as you can. The backflip, he totally bottoms out. That front tire needs to be all the way around about 3 seconds earlier than that. The idea is to hit and then fakey out, riding backwards.
And it's a good thing he's wearing a full face helmet.
currently standing second, Lee Ramsdell. The crowd is stoked for Jason Davies. He was 4th at the 96 X Games in Newport, Rhode Island. This guy wears a belt buckle with Evel Knievel on it, which might tell you something about his spirit.
He lives up the street here in Huntington Beach, California. One thing I like about Jason Davies is that he extends his tricks. He holds on to him as long as he can.
Perfect example right there.
He's got more of a unique style than the last rider we've seen.
No-hander. Both feet over the top tube. 540 saves it.
Jackie's got a pretty decent run going on. What he might want to do is go as high as he possibly can.
Oh, tough break as he just lost control of the bike. Now remember, average scores in the 2 preliminary rounds add up to who makes the final. And you cannot afford to have a bad one.
Right now, what he needs to do is drop in and finish his run without stopping, Jack. That would have more of an influence on the judges. Working the center part, that's a better 540, but he bottomed out.
He got a hard landing for himself.
I'll tell you why, Jack. The wall on the right-hand side of the ramp kind of throws you back away from the ramp. The other wall where he fell throws you into the ramp. This is a no-footer. Look at that flare and the extension. The judges love that. That's a great trick. Totally extended out. This other trick, though, his foot goes through the handlebars, and that's called a candy bar when he brings his foot through the crossbar right there, and a lock and go on. We've seen in dirt jump, they sometimes get their foot caught on the crossbar.
Jason Davies takes the early lead here in the preliminary round. Crowd estimates at 25,000 for the X Games tonight in San Diego. The fan response has been phenomenal all week. The weather has been great, and the spirits of the crowds have really been a benefit to the competition. This is East Providence, Rhode Island's Kevin Robinson. He was heartbroken because he broke his leg just days before the 1996 X Games, which of course were in Rhode Island.
Jack, Kevin is known for his big 540s. The judges know his tricks, and if he pulls them right, he'll get a high score. Oh!
Rear wheel hit the coping, and that threw his rhythm completely off. His seat is twisted way around.
Back wheel is jammed.
Now, he gets a 2-minute timeout if he has a mechanical problem in the first 60 seconds of his run, which is exactly the case here.
He rides for Hoffman Bikes. And so some of the other team guys might come over to try to help him out. You see a lot of camaraderie. There's Matt Hoffman, the Condor.
He is up on top of the deck right now, so he is unable to get down there and help his teammate Kevin Robinson.
Jack, and what he did, the left wall that he is on throws you into the ramp, and that's how come he hung up.
We will see how Kevin Robinson's saga comes out, and we'll also see a couple other riders on occasion. He has taken about every kind of horrible crash he can take, and he still loves this sport.
Jack, Rick is a very good rider. What he needs to do, he needs to get higher on the ramp. And the last couple days in practice, he's really been trying to do that. He pedals in between because he doesn't have a lot of power the other riders have.
As smooth and powerful as these guys are, it is scary when they throw tricks like that, and also when they leave the pedals.
He's a flashy type rider. He knows how to get the crowd fired up.
Train stand on the grind.
Jackie's a veteran of doing shows. 270 Smith grind, and spins 270 degrees and landing on his front peg. And that's a hard trick. That's a disaster, similar to that of skateboarding.
Landing on the frame of the bike, and also you're going to catch some of the chain there.
Rick's pump airs are not really high. There's the backflip. That's what he's known for. He normally ends his run with a backflip. It's a make or break trick.
Rick forward with a hard landing on the backflip. Lots of style early.
Lots of different tricks by Rick Thorne. Here is the can-can. You take your left foot and you throw it over the side of the bike with a cross-up. Now the standing tail whip, he pops up on the coping there, and the back end of the bike goes completely around, and he pops on it. Now this trick here is similar to that of skateboarding. The bike will land in the middle of the coping right there, and what you have to do is bring that back end around so it doesn't get hung up.
Rick Thorne has taken over the lead with an 85.40. The top 10 make the finals at the X Games. John Parker gets set to drop in. It is 11 feet from the coping, or that metal rail, to the flat bottom, the floor of the half pipe.
John Parker is known for his height. A couple days ago, Matt Hoffman said, watch out for this guy. He could take the contest. Jack, the key, though, is you have to use the entire ramp. You have to be creative.
Parker staying in the middle. Big can-can. One hand, one foot, and he gets caught up.
Now that side of the ramp is a little tricky. These two walls are a little different. The sun is not really a factor right now. It's hidden behind a cloud, and earlier it was a factor because it was blinding the athletes. 540 tire tap, great bike control. And the other riders working with him on that, Jack, because they moved out of the way up there on the deck.
Huge tail whip, and he drops it down on the pedals.
Great tail whip. Now he'll get bonus points for that, and that might eliminate the fall that he had. And a 540. It's important for every one of these guys to throw in a couple aerial tricks like the 540.
John Parker, 5th in the X Games in 1995, took one run in 96 and got hurt. And he is going to contend here in 1997 in San Diego.
I like the way John Parker gets in the air. He's got plenty of style and flair, taking his hands off at the same time, the left side of his body, and then coming up on the platform. This is a 540 tire tap. Now right here, the rest of the riders have to move out of the way. He has to keep his balance to drop in right there on the coping. That is crucial. This tail whip is super high. You don't even see the coping, and he spins it around. Notice his feet, where his feet go. His right foot got caught on the seat post, and then he was able to bring it around.
John Parker stands in first place with a 90 even. The man by whom all accomplishments are measured in bike stunt vert is on the deck. Matt Hoffman, the Condor, returning to competition. His chronically bad right shoulder got surgically repaired in January. He then blew it out in his first competitive run. Now he's back on the ramp, and he still can go as high as anyone.
Every opportunity you get to watch Matt Hoffman, you better capture it because it might be your last. This guy is barely put together. He is known for his great height.
Way off.
Flicking his heels in the air off the Superman.
Candy bar.
He is racking up all kinds of points right here, Jack, because he's doing a number of different tricks.
Brilliant sun, and then back into that black hole.
As you say, the sun pops out and he looks right into it.
No handle 540.
Nobody has done that yet. He ups the ante. Matt is not going as high as he normally goes. He rides for fun nowadays. He's a businessman, a rider, and a spokesperson for the sport. He's the first rider, though, that has used the extensions right there.
That is 12 feet above the flat bottom, and he gets an extra pump out of it. Tail whip clean. Hoffman saying that's enough for his first run, and the crowd is loving that.
Jack, Matt Hoffman is being smart because his reputation could carry him into the finals. Now, Matt Hoffman goes really high. He's got lots of style. He throws the arms out. His knees controlled the handlebars up there in the air. And look how high he gets off of this. Then he clicks his heels just briefly there as back tire almost comes down. And then here, the 540, the key here is no hands. Look where the handlebars are, resting right on his thighs right there, guiding the bars around in perfect placement.
93 even, gives first place to Hoffman, if only for the moment. If only for the moment, because now Dave Mirra is set to drop in. You are seeing banners at the X Games. This event is reaching critical mass.
What you might see with Dave Mirra is his ability to go both directions on the ramp. Normally a guy will go either left to right or right to left. Now Dave will switch it up and go either way. Similar to that of a Bob Burnquist in skateboarding, able to skate switch stance.
You immediately see the power and the speed of Mirra.
Now Dave is really quiet on his tricks, very smooth. He is looking right into the sun when he comes around this next wall. Right there, he is blind, coming down.
Big separation with the bike on the tricks. Huge tail whip.
That's the biggest tail whip of the day. Into a Canadian pick when he goes on the coping with that front tire.
Long grinds and he comes off the bike.
Now this is going to be interesting to see how the judges score this. This will be a good score, but will it be as high as Matt Hoffman? Matt Hoffman did not crash.
Mirra getting his rhythm back quickly. He gets a total of 90 seconds in the ramp. Showing a variety of tricks way up on the extension.
Now he's going the opposite way to an alley-oop.
Alley-oop going in backwards.
See, Jack, how he's going the opposite way? And there he goes, an alley-oop, feeble grind, and then back up on the extension.
Right on the corner, you could have put a handkerchief there. He was right on the corner of it.
And a backflip.
That's the trick that would have won in gold last year. Dave Mirra showing that he is back and he wants what Matt Hoffman twice has denied him.
Dave Mirra used a wide range of tricks and he used the entire ramp. Here, a nice, beautiful can-can. He's staying off the bike a long, long time, way up in the air. He lands high right there. That enables him to get a lot of speed for the next wall. Here, he's looking right into the sun. Huge Superman. Look how far away the bike leaves him. And then he finds the pedal, his right foot touches first. Going the opposite way on the ramp. On top of the ramp, here, it's a nose pick right up there on the deck. Landing a perfect backflip. The key here is to pedal out of it when you roll backwards and then shift it around to a 180.
Dave Mirra, even with the fall, a 95.40. Now remember, as we look at the leaderboard, the top 10 will make the finals. You average 2 runs, so a bad one in the second doesn't help any of these guys. Mirra leads Hoffman.
Jack, thank you. Dave Mirra doesn't care that it's the prelims, run number 1, going for it. He wants to back up that gold medal he had in the street. Matt Hoffman, kind of more of a businessman's approach in the first run, a little more conservative.
Dave Mirra, so much for a bad back. He told me that his back was a little sore from practice. He bailed. Gosh, if that's a bad back, I'd like to see what he would do when he's fully healthy. And you know, Matt Hoffman, he hasn't had much time to practice because he's organizing the event. And the equipment the guys wear in vert besides the helmet is optional. A lot of these guys don't wear the chest plates because they say it impedes their movement. And Hoffman, he doesn't wear a visor or a shoulder brace anymore. He says it doesn't do him any good.
These guys don't know the meaning of the word healthy. A lot more coming up. You'll see that entire group of riders, their second run, that is the line they get in to the vert ramp. They're waiting for folks to leave. Bad chance.
Back in 95, Mike Way.
Average couple, you have a front row seat. Later on, we'll show you the wakeboard wizards. You cross skateboarding with water skiing. You've got America's fastest growing water sport. We'll show it to you.
All week we've been getting a taste of our theme song redone by an eclectic group of musicians.
Eclectic, but not necessarily electric. We're going to get unplugged after Megadeth and Slash the last couple of nights. We now present Chi Yun, violin virtuoso born in Korea, now living in New York.
Some wonderful creatures, but not everything is friendly. Mosquitoes drink human blood. Protect yourself by wearing insect.
And saw his chances of taking the lead on the tour dashed for one more week. Once again, however, Marco Hintze skated with consistent style and unique tricks, and he represented Mexico with a solid finish. Local favorite Thierry Lallemand pleased his fans with a second-place finish in his home country. If Dion Anthony had to lose, he couldn't think of anyone better to lose to than his friend Josh Petty.
Josh, I feel like, is one of the guys that has taken the ball and is running with it right now. He's innovating, he's adding new tricks, he's adding vocabulary to the sport, and he's got his own style, which now other skaters, myself included, can emulate.
He always innovated a lot of tricks, and he still is. And he was the first skater I saw do like a Farfignugan and just all the grinding tricks and everything.
He has definitely done a lot for the sport in this last year. I just think his style, the way he does, especially UFOs, tricks like that, he's definitely, like, he's brought tricks to a new and a higher level.
I get to do what most other people like dream of, and I feel really lucky about that. But when you think about it, only 1 out of a million actual skaters actually get to this level. So in that sense, it does take a lot of practice and hard work. And the skating isn't so much luck as getting to this point is luck, you know, getting on TV and everything. Everybody says this, so it's like a good form of expression, you know. You just have fun, you know, create your own things to do. It takes, I don't know what I'd be doing if I wasn't skating. Like, I can't imagine not, because I skate almost every day, like after school, I don't know what I'd do. It's just something I love to do. And you can't really replace it.
And he's just added another dimension to skating. And it's rare when we have skaters like that. There's lots of people that are really good. And then every once in a while, you'll get a guy who actually changes the style, will change the way tricks are performed. And Josh is one of the guys doing that right now.
Josh Petty, with the momentum of his France win, keeps Dion Anthony looking over his shoulder as we move on to the 11th and final stop of the tour in Southern California when we return. Seal Beach. Neil Seymour did not show up, and that left it all up to two guys, Dion Anthony and Josh Petty. Dion, feeling good and loving the street course, came out skating absolutely flawlessly. He set the high water mark with super technical tricks. Mike Budnick also came out skating very well once again on the street course, taking top 3. But all the pressure, as Dion looked on, was on Josh Petty. He came out cruising, skating very, very fast, and he looked like he might be able to do it for the first 50 seconds of his run. Unfortunately, the run was 65 seconds, and with 15 seconds to go, he went down. As soon as Josh hit the pavement, I think he knew. Dion knew as well he would go into the finals with the most points, leading the tour with a win in Dallas, also in Munich, and once again finishing off in style in Seal Beach. So Dion Anthony heads into the finals with the most points, followed by Josh Petty, only 8 points behind, and in third, Neil Seymour. Randy Spicer, although he's sitting in 6th, is always a guy to watch.
Roadhouse epitomizes what it means to be a rollerblader. He's got the technical skill, but he's also a personality. He is a celebrity, and he lives up to the expectations. And there's huge expectations on Roadhouse, and he always delivers. No matter where you put him, no matter if it's even if it's a half pipe, if it's a mini ramp, if it's a street course, if it's real street, wherever he goes, people go, that's Roadhouse, and they're watching him, and he's gonna give them a good show. He is amazing, and he's a cool kid. And he's only 16 years old.
The Roadhouse is just a big little star. When he came out, he changed like a generation pretty much, like brought the younger guys up to the level of the older guys, and everyone knows who Roadhouse is.
On the competition series, though, I think Randy has gone through a phase where he was on top for a while. Now there's a lot of new people that are really good. And also I think, I mean, because it's a subjective sport, I think he went through a phase also where the judges were sort of, took Roadhouse for granted.
Because the judges know what Randy can do and expect, you know, great things from him. So he's got to come out with something great. You know, 97, he hasn't, you know, he's gone up, but the judges expect Randy to go up here, and that's what he's going to have to do, but I think he can.
I think we're going to see some rad stuff from Randy.
There's a reason Randy Spicer was the 1996 ASA Pro Tour winner. Heading on to the vert ramp, Chris Edwards came out with a vengeance. Tied Chris after his strong showing in France, chose not to come to the final event, which opened the door for Eitan Kramer. He could take first in the overall tour rankings with either a first or second place. After the first round, Eitan led. After the second, he dropped back to second, but in the third run, things didn't go his way. Chris Edwards would step up. He would fill the second place spot by going big and skating the way he likes to, pulling lots of nice old school tricks. But the big surprise of the day, 14-year-old Japanese skater Eight Yasutoko, who hadn't been on tour since early in the season, came out and won. So it was Eight Yasutoko, followed by Chris Edwards and Eitan Kramer, who would have to settle with second in the overall tour rankings going into the finals. So the whole year comes down to this: Naples, Florida, for the most prestigious event in aggressive inline skating. These are the faces that will put it all on the line in just a few days when the ASA Pro Tour World Championships comes to ESPN and ESPN2, beginning Wednesday, November 19th at 4 p.m. on ESPN and 11 p.m. Eastern on ESPN2. The ASA Pro Tour is the professional circuit of the Aggressive Skaters Association. Expect the World Championships to be something extraordinary. Don't miss it. You won't be disappointed. All of us here at ESPN will see you at the finals.
In terms of difficulty, the sport of vertical skateboarding has reached an all-time high. Never have we seen the incredible caliber of skating than we have witnessed this past year. In stop number 1 of the band's Hard Rock Cafe Triple Crown of Skateboarding, we venture to Las Vegas, Nevada. Tony Hawk, with years of competitive experience behind him, put it all together for the best run of the day. Tony records a first in Las Vegas. Stop number 2 landed us in Boston as we brought vert skating to City Hall Plaza. With Tony Hawk sitting this one out, Boston's very own Andy Macdonald took full advantage of the opportunity to cash in. His second round score was good enough for the win, but on his last run of the day, he stepped it up and made sure there was no doubt who the winner would be. This brings us to our third and final stop as we sweep into Universal City Walk in Hollywood, California. Hundreds wait in line as skateboarding returns to its roots right here in sunny Southern California. Also returning is the best vert skater the sport has seen, Tony Hawk.
Actually, it's hard, a little bit harder here because the crowd is clued in. The crowd knows what's going on. You know, the audience here are skaters, and so they're the most critical. You know, and like in San Diego at the X Games or any other, usually any other events, it's kind of a crowd of non-skaters who just appreciate the basics. But here, I think you're under a lot more scrutiny. So it's great because, you know, it's the people that we're here for is what it's all about.
Besides dealing with the knowledgeable California crowd, Tony will have to combat the likes of Brazilian Bob Burnquist.
Every contest that Tony enters, the intensity level totally rises up, and everyone wants to skate better because Tony's there. I mean, Tony's everyone's idol. You know, everyone, at least that's here and the age average, just like everyone's looked up to Tony at one time. And so I think that when you're skating with him, it's like, you know, you want to show him that, you know, he did the whole vert skating. He almost like created almost all the tricks that there is. So you want to know, you want to show them, like, well, I can vert skate too. You know, that's cool that you did what you did, and we're all here now.
They are all here, including the powerful skater from Denmark, Rune Glifberg.
Usually, like at big contests like this, I usually like try and figure out in my head like what I'm gonna do before I drop in. You know what I mean? So you kind of know what you're gonna do, but then as you go along, you kind of see what happens, if it's gonna be a good one or a bad one, or you know, you might not be able to do what you want it to do, so you got to try and fix it with a couple of different tricks. So in that way, yeah, you gotta have something in mind when you drop in.
What's on every skater's mind is staying on their board, because if they do, they'll have a shot at the $10,000 prize purse for first place. Welcome to Hollywood, California, and the final stop of the Vans Hard Rock Cafe Triple Crown of Skateboarding. Vertical skating evolved out of street skating, and street skating originated right here in Southern California. It's really been an amazing process, and one that keeps getting more technical with each new year. Even though the vibe is somewhat different, it's easy to see why the two are forever linked. From Costa Mesa, California, representing Kingdom, Chris Gentry getting ready to drop in on his first run of the day.
Chris with a Smith grind over the Bridge of Death. Looking good here. Chris is always a consistent performer, always doing well, very, very consistent, does well at every event. He's always a potential contender.
We mentioned that this ramp, 56 feet wide, so Chris, he's got to cover a lot of ground in a hurry.
Yeah, that was a nice heel flip Indy right there, and yeah, it's very important to cover the whole ramp. Sasha Steinhorst, the head judge, was saying that one of the most important things is they use these obstacles, that they use the entire ramp surface.
Chris is trying to do that. He's a very powerful rider. He balances with his hands kind of wide there. That's his center point.
That was a nice nose blunt and blunt combination that he just did. He's kind of staying in the middle of the ramp here. That's the only limit. You know, the only limitation on this run is maybe the use of the ramp. Right there is a heel flip Indy getting right around the face height level. That was a great run, and Chris is going to score an 87.2 for his efforts.
Chris Gentry starts us off here in Hollywood. Here's a look at the rest of the finalists for the Vans Hard Rock Cafe Triple Crown of Skateboarding. The atmosphere here in Hollywood is festive, and it should be. The world of skateboarding seems to bring people from all walks of life together. We'll be back with more right after this. California for the final leg of the Vans Hard Rock Cafe Triple Crown of Skateboarding. This event is bigger and better than it was 1 year ago, mainly because skateboarding is at an all-time high. After winning stop #1 in Las Vegas, Nevada, Tony Hawk is skating incredible. Bob Burnquist has cranked up his switch dance maneuvers, and Rune Glifberg, he's skating as technical as ever. Those three skateboarders, along with 7 others, are enjoying the best vert ramp ever made for a contest. For more on that, here's Chris Miller.
Thanks, Paul. We're up here on top of the ramp to tell you a little bit about this ramp's unique features. First of all, the ramp's 56 feet wide, so it's the widest ramp we've seen in any of these contests. Secondly, it features 2 extensions, one with cement pool coping, and the other, and probably the most unique feature, is what's being called the Bridge of Death. It's a piece of metal coping that extends over a gap in the ramp 2.5 feet above the lip. The judges are going to be looking for riders to do their most difficult tricks on these particular features, and the riders who use the whole ramp, including the extensions, excluding the Bridge of Death, are going to be the people who do best today.
The format for today's competition is somewhat different than the 2 previous contests. The skaters get 3 runs of 45 seconds apiece. That stays the same. What has changed is instead of being judged on their best 1 run of the day, the skaters will be judged on their 2 best runs, and the scores are added together. The skater with the highest 2-run total at the end will be the champion. For more, we spoke with head judge Sasha Steinhorst.
With the 2 runs, they're going to have to be more consistent and put more stuff together. 2 runs is just going to show more consistency, and guys who are using more of the ramp, utilizing more of the obstacles that are out there, the extensions, the Bridge of Death, they're the ones that are going to score higher and do better.
Matthias Ringstrom demonstrates a 360 varial. Variety will be a key as Brian Patch pulls off a clean kickflip mute grab. In any given run, we'll see up to 16 different tricks. Here, Bob Burnquist pulls off, as only he can, a switch alley-oop 5-0 grind. Those are some of the tricks to look for as we head to our next skater, Brian Howard. It's amazing that Brian is here. This is his first contest back after suffering a severe injury to his liver while riding a BMX bike.
I'm just really excited because after crashing on the BMX bike and injuring my liver and stuff, had a lot of weird feelings, how long it would take to get back and stuff. I'm really excited that this weekend is my first contest back, and I feel like I'm doing pretty good. I feel pretty strong, this big confidence booster, so it'll only get better now.
Brian only been back from his injury about 2 weeks, and for that, this is a great run.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting to see Brian come back so quickly and just be so solid. Brian does excellent lip tricks. Look at that, alley-oop 5-0 grind. He's one of the only people in this contest doing that trick. Great run for Brian.
Very smooth alley-oop frontside 5-0 grind with a score of 86.8. Brings us to the most popular skateboarder in America, if not the world, Tony Hawk.
Let's see what Tony's got up his sleeve. Tony's been skating incredible all throughout practice. Let's see what he does in his run. That was a nice frontside slob across the ramp. Big old rocket air.
Poking the 540, he qualified second behind Rune Glifberg.
Talk about using the whole ramp. I mean, notice how Tony's just going side to side, back and forth, with ease, with power. He's covering the entire distance of the ramp on every trick.
Chris, with the ramp being so big, I know that time is of essence, so you really have to plan out your run so you hit everything on this ramp.
Yeah, it takes a lot more energy to cover all this distance and do so many tricks on a wider ramp. You almost have to be going faster and more power and more effort.
The best run of the day, no doubt. Tony leaning back, barely pulls that off.
Almost losing it. This is an incredible run from Tony. The one-footed invert to fakie into a Caballero back to the lip slide. I don't think that fall's going to hurt him at all, though. Here's another look at a frontside gay twist. Whipping out. Almost lost it right there. Kind of hit a kink on the bottom of the ramp or something.
Taking a look at some other skaters that ripped in round number 1. Darren Mendito pulled out an 85. Bob Burnquist mixed his run with regular and switch, nailing down an 86. Rune Glifberg used the ramp edge to edge, scoring an 86.6. After round number 1, Tony Hawk has the high score with 90.2. Chris Gentry is in second, and Brian Howard third. Rune Glifberg has a slight edge over Bob Burnquist, but there's still 2 more runs to go.
Behind this stained glass, you'll enter a world of imagination, beauty, and elegance. Small's Department 6 gives a unique surprise around every corner.
Canada's Pierre-Luc Gagnon getting set to drop in on his second run of the day. On his first run, he got an 84.2. I know he can do better than that.
Yeah, I know he can do better, too. I mean, throughout practice, he's by far one of the most consistent skaters out there. Nice kickflip Indy right there. Hit right into a kickflip mute. Great line from Pierre-Luc.
Pierre is super technical. Good to see that he can throw the big 540 McTwist in there as well.
That's right, Pierre. Whoa! Right there, trying a nollie flip, but he got stuck and just brought it around without the flip.
Now using the extensions, there's 2 big extensions. The bridge of death, as they call it.
Right into a gate twist off of that crooked grind on the bridge of death. The only thing I can say in criticism of Pierre-Luc here is that his run is he tends to get stuck in one section of the ramp and then move to the next section. But trick-wise and combination-wise, this is one of the best runs we've seen. Right there was a heel flip into a twist. Here's another look at that nollie heel flip attempt without flipping, brings it back in and makes it.
Good score by Pierre, and this brings us to Brazilian Bob Burnquist, who now lives in San Francisco. Chris, his first run he earned an 86, and knowing that they average the best 2 scores together, this run will be important.
Yeah, this run's very important. He just dropped into a switch, frontside invert revert, now going big on the frontside air, right into a huge McTwist. Bob's ripping it up on this run.
Bob Burnquist used to save those switch dance maneuvers for the end of his run, now starting to put them at the beginning.
Bob seems to be progressing and getting more powerful and more technical. Every contest I see him, he seems to get a little better, and this is one of the best performances I've seen. Ollie to nose grind up the extension. That was really nice.
Tony Hawk has the best run of the day with a 90.2. Will Bob Burnquist catch him here?
Oh, switch alley-oop 5-0 into a switch backside lip slide, getting twisted around into a switch frontside lip slide. What a combination.
It's amazing to watch this guy, and Bob Burnquist settles into what should be a very good score. He loves it. Hawk loves it.
That was great, man. That was a great run. Here's that switch 5-0 over the bridge of death, right into an alley-oop switch 5-0.
89.6, and Tony Hawk still has the best run of the day. He drops in on this, his second run.
That run from Bob's got to be inspiring for Tony. He's going to be pushing it. Big frontside slob into a huge Japan air. 540 varial. Look at this run.
Tony Hawk using the entire ramp just like Bob Burnquist just did.
Whoa!
Stays on.
Wow, that's rare to see Tony on edge like that and sketching out, but he pulls it off and keeps going.
Tony Hawk pushing his limit, a 720, and he slides back out on it.
Tony whipping out. It looked like that's kind of what he did on the first run as well. 540 varial, giving his board an extra rotation on the 540.
Up next is Rune Glifberg. He posted an 86.6 his first run, so he has some points to make up to catch Hawk's best run score of 90.